Greetings, this is Junior Martin of Bob Martin and the Wailers. The time has come for the lion to tell his story. And we have here the lion voice. So listen in and get nourishment for the stomach and for the head cup. Jah Rastafari.
Give thanks.
Give thanks and praise.
Yo, this is Plaga Benz and time have come for the lion to tell them one story. This is the Lion's Voice. Stay tuned.
Well, front to us, a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you got your book? Haile Selassie's Ethiopia Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety, and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative, and very historical, right?
Them call him Lij when he was born, rain fall from sky. Them call him Lij when he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Lij lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Lij read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
First of all, I've known this brethren for many years, over a decade I know this brethren. So let me just get that out the way. This is a brethren who love His Majesty, just like I, anytime we get together, we're going back and forth. But because he actually is descending from the bloodline, the Solomonic bloodline, and we're going to talk about this Solomonic dynasty, the bloodline. We're going to get into all of the facts because he has family experience that he can draw from. The history that I read about in books is actually family history, is actually part of his lived experience in terms of what he brings to the table. He's a businessman here in America, but he's also the founder and the executive of Selassie Stand Up, who fought. Many ones will see that there is now a statue of Her Majesty in front of the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. This was the brethren who really led that charge and spearheaded that campaign to have that statue there. He's been a long-time advisor to the Crown Council, currently serving as the PR representative for the Crown Council of Ethiopia, traveling around the world in this auspicious role, and one of the most knowledgeable people that I know just in general about His Majesty, the reign of His Majesty, Ethiopian history, culture, the Solomonic dynasty, these things. So we're going to get deep, family, tonight, because this is the Reading Ras. I want you to get your pen and your paper, get ready to take some notes. But first, my family, 7 of us, 7 divine souls in the chat right now. Help I to welcome warm Lion Pride welcome for Lij Nebyat Demessie. Bless him, my brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the warm and very energetic introduction. So
yes.
I'm a little bit under the weather, but I wouldn't have missed this for anything. So
yes.
Pleasure to be here.
We give thanks. First, let's just start. Where were you born? And just give us your journey, to where you are today.
Sure. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm a Midwesterner. I went to school at the University of Michigan, so spent about 6 years in Ann Arbor, where I did my undergrad and grad degree. So as you mentioned earlier, I'm in the business aspect of healthcare, so I work in the health insurance industry. So that's taken me to many places, particularly Philadelphia, New York City, Washington, D.C. area as well. So I'm currently in Ohio right now as we speak, but travel very frequently. And as you mentioned, I launched a grassroots movement called Selassie Stand Up. And I also serve as the head of PR for the Crown Council, serving in an advisory capacity to His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias Haile Selassie, who serves as the president of the Crown Council of Ethiopia.
Give thanks. And why the interest? What explain to us where your mother and father from? why the interest in serving Ethiopia, being born in America as you were?
Sure. So my parents were born and raised in Ethiopia. I also spent some time in Ethiopia as well. My parents came actually in the early 70s through the American Field Service Program. I have a line to the Solomonic lineage through my mother to King Selassie, which traces his lineage all the way back to King Solomon and Queen of Sheba. Where
in Ethiopia is your mother from? Which province?
So she's from. So technically, my parents are both from the northern Showa area. They were born. My dad was born in Addis Ababa. My mother actually was born in an area called Gojam in Debre Marcos, actually in Gojam, because my grandfather was in the military under the emperor, serving during that time. But
Gojam, you said?
She was born there, correct?
Okay.
But her ancestry.
That's an area that had a lot of rebellion. We're gonna get there,
That's true. She was born there, but that's because my grandfather was stationed there. Otherwise, they're from the northern area called Menz, Bulga, and also the Ankober area where my great grandfather and great grandmother lived before they came.
That's also where Menelik II grew up as well, Ankober.
That's correct. Right.
Yes. Before he was taken captive. We're gonna get deep, family. Two parents from Showa. During the time of the emperor, what was your father doing? Your grandfather? Give us some of the connection, so that people, when we get into the Battle of Adwa, why you're so passionate, because this is part of your family legacy.
Right. Sure, yeah. So my grandfather served as a major in the military under Emperor Haile Selassie. He was actually stationed in Asmara, Eritrea, for many, many years. His father actually was he was in charge of Emperor Menelik's military depot in a place called Koramash in Bulga, in the northern Showa area.
Yes.
They had very close ties. He was there. My grandfather grew up in Bulga, I think up to the age of 15. He then later moved to Addis Ababa as his father was summoned by Emperor Menelik, and was on. He traveled throughout the southern portion of the country, trying to garner the support and endorsement of various Oromo and Gurage landlords as well, to kind of solidify the unity of the country. But subsequent to that, my grandfather was in the military, so he fought in the second war against Italians. And my great grandfather.
By the second war, are you talking about Adwa or?
No, the war in 1935.
Oh, 1935. And what's your grandfather's name? Let's call the ancestors.
Sure. My grandfather is Major Lamma Lesadik. This is his name.
Okay. So people, these are important historical figures. So my Ethiopian history buffs, we're going to get deep tonight. All right. So grandfather fought. Did you have any relatives that actually fought in the Battle of Adwa?
Yes. I mean, we had, so on my great grandfather's side, there were relatives, who fought in that war. But, in terms of actually leading the military command at that time, through relation, we have, but in terms of a direct lineage, I don't have, no.
Okay. You mentioned the efforts that Menelik had to expand the kingdom to the south, because this becomes a very big point of contention. Even today in present Ethiopia, you use very diplomatic terms in terms of reaching out to the landlords. A lot of people, particularly in places like RC, have a gripe that Menelik was an imperialist, and it was by violence that the kingdom was established. What do you say to this kind of reasoning?
Well, in terms of how certain parts were incorporated within the broader union. Well, there are various perspectives regarding that. I think, in terms of solidifying the unity of the country, it was necessary during that time, in particular because of the threat of colonialism that was encroaching upon Ethiopia, and was a lot of African countries were under colonial rule during that time. And so it was necessary to solidify the unity of all Ethiopians under one strong central command, and that's what Emperor Menelik was able to accomplish during his time.
Well, for unto us a son was born and a child was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Them call him Lij when he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Lij when he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Lij, lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Lij, read your Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then, born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England or Cote d'Ivoire, no matter if you're brown or black like Qatar. Haile Selassie say fi end all tribal war. A time fi gather Mount Zion, fi drive solar car from the car straight to Zanzibar. Who we are, the sons of Lij when he was born, rain fall from the sky. Lij when he was grown in airplanes he fly. Then Lij, the lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Then Lij, read your Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Royal governor from the age of 13 years, leave the palace fi go back in a school with him peers. He's the head without fear, he's one to be revered. When them call his name, then the heathen scare. Plus the priest concerned and him teachers concerned, cause all this little youth want fi do is just learn. But he wait his turn till him turn the chance match. The people rejoice when him crown as the Rasta call him Lij when he was born, rain fall from the sky. Then Lij when he was grown in airplanes he fly. Then Lij, the lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Then Lij, read your Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Well, Ras McConnell call a meeting with all him general them. Say him funeral a come and him have something fi tell them. Him say, we fight together since the days of Adwa. Him say, protect my son and help him unite Africa. Well, him generals, them start cry when them hear this sound. Them say your wishes are command and bow down to the ground. When him funeral they come, it shock the whole town. Fi see this little youth, him have a army surround, they call him